What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the DC Collectible DC Comics Icons Deathstroke from the Judas Contract comic book. Now, as you can see, we do have Deathstroke here in the packaging. We can see the figure here, as well as all his other accessories here. I don't know if you can see that, but we do get a revolver, a machine gun, and his bow staff here, his sword, alternate set of hands, and an alternate head. So really looking forward to getting this guy opened up. On the side we do have his name. It says Deathstroke. On the side, just letting you know, he is the 21st figure of the DC Comics Icons line, and like I said, he is from the Judas Contract story. And then on the back, no read-up, just other figures of this line. We do get Swamp Thing, a New 52 Wonder Woman, Cyborg, the Deluxe Cyborg, and Deathstroke himself. So I was really looking forward to this guy, really glad I have him now. So what I'm going to do now is take a little break, get him opened up, and then we'll go on to the rest of his review. So sit tight, everyone. And so here we have Deathstroke out of packaging. Before we get on to the figure himself, let's actually show off some of the accessories he comes with, because he does come with quite a few. First off, Deathstroke actually does come with two heads. We do get his masked Deathstroke the Terminator head, and then we also do get an unmasked Slade Wilson head. And honestly, this is a really nice head sculpt. You can see the hair is nicely done. It's painted white with that dry brushing. Really good job on Deathstroke here. You can see the eye patch is nice and glossy. His eye is painted really well. So really good job on this head sculpt. And let's actually go on to his masked head, and you can see they did a good job sculpting the face under the mask. That's a really good job. It's really difficult to actually sculpt because there's really not much detail and you don't want it to look too flat. But again, good job on the eye, although I think they did a better job on this eye than they did on this one. But he does have the tassels here on the back. They're not articulated. They are a separate piece. I wouldn't recommend moving these around because there is a chance you can accidentally snap them off, so be aware of that. But we do get two heads, and now let's actually go on to some of his other accessories. Deathstroke comes with a total of 4 hands. We get 2 pairs of hands. We do get the fist hands, which come on him out of packaging. And then we also do get this grasping left hand, which is going to be used to hold his sword and his bow staff. And then we also do get a trigger finger hand, which, as you can guess, it's going to be used to hold his guns, either the revolver or his machine gun. I don't know which one I'm going to have Deathstroke pose with. I'm probably going to have him pose with a fist and the sword gripping hand. The sword does fit in his hand, in case you were wondering what it looks like. There you go. He does hold the sword really nice and tight. So really liking that. Really liking the trigger hand. So with the hands out of the way, let's move on to his next accessory. Deathstroke's next accessory is his sword and his sheath. You can see it's done in this really nice orange paint job, as well as some gold, almost bronze right here on the scabbard. You can see some, I don't know what that is. It looks kind of like a bull or a demon. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but they did a really good job sculpting those. The sword does come out of the sheath, and it is done with this really nice gold paint, and the silver paint on it is really nice. Be aware that it does have a little bit of give to it, but I wouldn't recommend bending it past this because it does feel like it will snap. Putting the sheath back in, you can see there is a little peg right here, and there's a little hole in Deathstroke's back. And what you're going to do is you're just going to peg that on, and now we have Deathstroke with the sword on his back. And of course you can move it to the side if you so wish. So that looks really nice. So let's continue looking at his accessories. Deathstroke also does come with this really long bow staff, and if you don't believe me on how long it is, here's just how it looks next to Deathstroke, and you can see it's actually taller than him. If you're wondering, yes, it does separate into 3 parts. You can pull it apart from here and then right at the top there. So that looks really cool. If you really wanted to, you can make the bow staff a little bit shorter. This part does tab in, so it really gives you the option of having a really long bow staff or a really short bow staff. I don't know if I'm going to have Deathstroke pose with the bow staff, but it is there if you're going to have him with it, so that's a really nice detail. So let's go on to his final two accessories. The final accessories we have for Deathstroke are his revolver and his machine gun. Now let's actually take a look at the machine gun first. It's just done in this silver plastic. There's really no paint job to speak of, but it does look nice, and you can see all the detail there. And as you would imagine, it does fit the trigger hand, although I have already tried getting him to hold it. His arm kind of like bends the stock, and I really don't want to be doing that. So this isn't my favorite accessory, but he does come with the revolver, and this actually does fit in his hand really nicely. You can see his finger goes through the trigger no problem, so that's really nice. Like with the machine gun, there's no paint on here, but you can see it has a lot of sculpted details on it, so that's really cool. And you can see even the barrel is sculpted out. And if you really wanted to, Deathstroke does have some storage for his revolver. He has a side holster right here, and you can just slide that in. Doesn't go down all the way, but it does sit there, so be aware if you're moving him around, it is prone to falling out. So still a nice accessory. So now that we have his accessories out of the way, let's actually go on to the figure himself. And so here we have Deathstroke with his sword on his back, and as you can see, he looks really, really nice. There's a lot of detail on Deathstroke here, and I'm really glad I picked him up. He's actually I know I said that about most of the icons I picked up, but he is one of my favorite figures so far, and he just looks really phenomenal. Before we get on to his detail, let's actually compare him to another Deathstroke figure, so we'll set him right there. And we'll compare him next to the DC Universe Classic Deathstroke, and as you can see, they both look like really nice figures, and they kind of have the same accessories. They both have a handgun, they both came with a machine gun, they both have a bow staff, they both have a sword. The only difference is this one comes with an alternate head, where this one had an unmasked head variant. So you can see that there are some differences between the two. You can see the colors on the DC Universe Classic Deathstroke are darker, and then his sword is attached to his side, where his is attached to his back. This one has storage for all his weapons. I just don't have him with the machine gun, where this one can only have his revolver and his sword on his back. But still, they look really nice together, and this is just a comparison in case you're wondering how they stack up. They're actually almost the same size, so the icons are upscaling their figures up, so that's a really good thing. Let's scoot his accessories off to the side. So let's actually get a look at Deathstroke's detailing here. Moving the camera up to that mask, which we already had a look at. Again, they did a really good job sculpting Deathstroke's head here. You can see the mask is really nicely done. We do get some gold paint right along the collar here. His bandolier is done with this metallic blue with orange bullets. And then we get to his chainmail armor, and it's just really nicely sculpted. You can see it almost is reminiscent of Aquaman, although Aquaman doesn't use any of these parts. Maybe the torso. I'll have to take a look and see if this middle piece is the same as Aquaman's. I really doubt it though, but you know, they might have reused it. We get to his utility belt, where we have some pouches, some grenades. Yeah, it kind of alternates between pouch, grenade, pouch, pouch, grenade, pouch, and so on and so forth. So that's a really cool detail. That same logo that we saw on his scabbard is here on his holster. You can see a little bit of paint error on mine, but that's no big deal. And then we go on to his really big, almost pirate boots. He does look nice. It's a really cool figure, and I'm really glad I have him. So that's Deathstroke for you in a nutshell. So let's actually go on to his articulation really fast, because he's sporting the exact same icon's articulation that we've come to know and love. Let's get his sword off his back for just one moment. So Deathstroke does have a ball-jointed head. He can look up slightly, can't really look down, no side-to-side movement, but we do get head swivel there. And these tassels are done with a soft plastic, but I would recommend you move them gently before rotating his head. Arms on a ball joint go out to about that far. They don't want to go further than that. They do a full 360. Swivel at the bicep. Double jointed at the elbow, which you don't get the best range, but it does go past 90. We get a swivel and a hinge at the wrist. We get an upper ball joint for the torso, so he gets a lot of movement there. He goes forward about that far, goes back about that far. Then we have that lower torso crunch, so he goes about that far down and combined that far back. No waist swivel, because the swivel is up here at the torso and it's a really stiff joint. Legs go forward, back, and out. We also do get that drop down hinge, so you can actually get his leg going further out if you really want to. No conventional thigh swivel, but his leg is on a ball joint, so it does rotate on that. So we get a slight thigh swivel. It's not the best, but it is there. Double jointed in the knee. He spins at the boot. Spins under the boot. Has an ankle hinge that goes forward, back, and has a front-facing pin, so we do get some rocker ankle movement. So all in all, really good articulation here on the Terminator Deathstroke. So what we're going to do now is take a little break, get him posed for my final thoughts. Then we'll wrap up this review, so sit tight everyone. And just a quick note guys, before I go into my final thoughts, if you're going to be switching out the heads, I really recommend you don't have any accessories attached to them. You don't want to accidentally break one of these off. So if you're going to be switching his heads off, take all the accessories off, then pop on the head that you guys want to have them with. That way you don't run the risk of breaking any of your accessories, and the figure looks very nice. So just that quick note, so let's go on to my final thoughts. So here we have Deathstroke the Terminator posed for my final thoughts, and overall a really phenomenal figure. If you don't have this guy in your collection, you're gonna want to add him, because he is just a really nice figure. And I really do like Deathstroke. He's actually one of my favorite DC characters, and I just had to pick him up the moment I saw him at my local comic book store. He was on the peg. I saw him, the only one they had left, so I was really thankful that they were able to have one extra that I was able to purchase. I should really ask them to put figures that I'm looking for on the side. But anyway, if you can find Deathstroke, I really recommend you pick him up, especially if you're a fan of the Icons line, if you're a fan of Deathstroke, or just a fan of the design in general. Definitely have a look at him. You're not going to be disappointed with this figure. With that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000 saying don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, go check out all my other action figure reviews. All my DC Icon figures are also up, as well as all my DC collectible figures, so why don't you go ahead and check those out. And while you're at it, don't forget to like this video. Tell me what you think of Deathstroke. Do you think he's worth it? Do you think I'm overhyping the figure, or do you think he's getting just what he deserves? And as always, if there's a figure you guys would like to see me review, go ahead and let me know down in the comments. And if I can find space for it in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. And until next time, I'm KingofDragons 5000, and I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.
My dreams are nightmares. How can I sleep? You got the gun against me.